Hey, what's going on guys, Xrathis here and welcome back to another PvP guide. In today's video I'm going to be discussing Destro. Now Destro is the best Warlock spec at the moment. It has great utility, great survivability and great DPS. So if you're playing a Warlock, Destro's definitely the way to go, especially within this DPS meta. I'm just going to jump straight into it. Timestamps will be in the description down below, so obviously check that out. I'm going to jump straight into my talents here. So level 15 talents. Sorry for my chair. And level 15 talents, I always go with Flashover, just for that extra damage in Conflagrate and getting that extra charge of Backdraft. It's really nice because every time Conflagrate's off cooldown, I always use it. Now this paired up with the Azerite trait known as Bursting Flare is very decent because they just have synergy. Casting Conflagrate on a target affected by your Immolate increases your mastery by X amount depending on your Azerite gear, stacking up to 5 times. So you're looking at upwards of like 300 mastery, around 200 to 300 mastery depending on your Azerite trait, every time you have an Immolate on your target and you cast a Conflagrate. So it's really nice. I do like going with this purely for the fact that it just does more damage overall and it's very nice. So I know people would argue that Eradication's good, purely for the fact that when you cast a care spell to your target, you do 10% more damage to them for 7 seconds. However, you don't really get that many care spells off in Arena, so I would always go with Flashover just for that extra sustainability and extra damage in Arena. So I'd always go with that. Level 30 talents, I always go Reverse Entropy, purely for the fact that I like the haste. Gives me 15% haste, therefore every time I'm stepping to the arena, I get that extra haste and I can get my care spells out faster. Very decent. I don't play the other ones. I know Shadowburn can be good in BGs, just for the extra, finish power, but I just don't like it, I definitely prefer Reverse Entropy because I want to be getting the most amount of haste as possible so I can get my care spells off faster. Level 45 talents, Demon Skin, 100% way to go. Don't go with the others. Level 60 talents, I always go with Cataclysm, purely for the fact that if I'm against compositions like DKs or I'm against anything with a load of pets, I can Cataclysm on the target, and if I'm playing Flashpoint, I'm going to get so much haste because my Immolate is going to be on the target and all of the pets are going to be above 80% health, so I'm going to gain a ton of haste from this. So it's very nice. Cataclysm is definitely the way to go, especially into cleave compositions. Now 75 talent. This is debatable. I always use Mortal Coil purely for the fact that you can double Havoc Mortal Coil the enemy in Arena. This sets up great mobility and makes you have that great kill potential because you can set up the crowd CC chain and then you can work on Care Spell in the other target. So you can basically force out cooldowns within a matter of seconds using double Mortal Coil. It just gives you that extra survivability and mobility in Arena because at the end of the day, you can Mortal Coil people gateway away, you can Mortal Coil into CC, you can Mortal Coil into big damage. It's really nice to have. However, I know people like Demonic Circle because if you're playing on like a tight squishy map, you can actually get away from the enemy very quickly. However, in this meta, I always go with Mortal Coil just for that extra healing and the ability to set up my burst. Now, level 90 talents, I actually picked from 2 here, Roaring Blaze and Grimoire of Supremacy. So out of PvP, Grimoire of Supremacy increases your care spell damage by 8%. I think in PvP this is reduced to 4%. I could be wrong, let me know in the comments down below. However, I never play Grimoire of Sacrifice because I don't think it's decent. Only as Affliction I play this, to be honest. Grimoire of Supremacy, obviously I really like it because it increases your care spell damage. Paired up with Focused Chaos and Chaotic Inferno and also Crashing Chaos, you're going to be hitting like 200k care spells. It's ridiculous, especially with Dark Soul 2. But if you're in a game or a situation where you can't get your care spells off, I like playing Roaring Blaze. Now, Roaring Blaze allows you to burn the target for 6.2k fire damage over 6 seconds every time you use Conflagrate. If you pair this up with Cremation, then it's really nice because your Conflagrate is going to do more damage baseline, and also if you play Bursting Flare, you're basically going to get a ton of mastery and your Conflagrate is going to be doing like nearly 10% of the enemy HP. So it's really nice to have if you can't get your care spells off because you can burn the target down with your Conflagrate every time it's off cooldown, and then what Cremation's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to basically get rid of 3% of the target's maximum health and fire damage. So it's really, really nice. And this is on 11-second cooldown. And there's 2 stacks too. So it's kind of like, you know, you're going to be hitting the target for around 5 to 10% of the HP every 11 seconds. So it's really, really decent. But yeah, Supremacy is the way to go if you want the big Chaos Bolt build. Roaring Blaze is the way to go if you can't get your Chaos Bolts off. So now, talking about Dark Soul, that's the only one you want to be going here, purely for the fact that you can do more damage and it gives you more crit. So, Channel Demon Fire is good, but I just prefer Dark Soul. Now, moving on to PvP talents, I always play with Medallion. However, you can play with Relentless or Adaptation if you're not a gnome. So say if you're a human, you want to play Relentless, obviously to get out those cooldowns a lot quicker and everything. So it's experimentation, like, you know, just an experiment. Play what you like there. Now, I'm not saying these talents are the best. I think they are, but this is just my opinion. You can play literally whatever and it'll work as a Destro lock. That's the good thing. Focus Chaos basically increases your Chaos Bolt by 65%. Really, really nice if you pair this with Crashing Chaos and Chaotic Inferno. Crashing Chaos, every time you basically summon your Inferno, is going to increase your next 8 Chaos Bolts damage by like 2.8k to 3k damage. And Chaotic Inferno increases your Chaos Bolt damage by 1.5k and has a 25% chance to make your next Incinerate instant. So it's really, really nice. I always play Focus Chaos, never swap that out in Arena, unless obviously you can't get your Chaos Bolts off, but yet again, even if you can, I always play this. Nether Ward, I always play against casters, you know, stuff that I can reflect. So if I'm against like a Fire Mage, I always use it at the end of the GPI cast and then it'll reflect it back. So it's really, really nice. You always want to be playing that if you're against casters. Foul Fisher's incredibly good in Arena, purely for the fact that it reduces the target's movement speed by 50% and reduces healing taken by 25%. Every time you use your Chaos Bolt, obviously, as long as they're standing in the Fissure, which is the AoE pool on the floor, it would be like a green animation, as I'm aware. As long as they're stood in that, they take a load more damage and reduced healing, and their movement speed is very low. So it's really, really nice, especially if they play Corruption Gear as well, because some has a chance to decrease your movement speed, and this can just be absolutely nuts in Arena. You can kill people with the tentacles and like infinite stars, everything like that. It's just really, really good. So I will always use that. However, if I am not playing my Conflict and Strife, then you want to be going Demon Armor. So my standard spec would be Focus Chaos, Demon Armor, Foul Fisher, or Reflect. But it depends what you're up against, right? It's all situational at the end of the day. Sometimes you might want to swap Reflect out for Curse of Weakness if you're against melee teams. Sometimes if you can't get your Chaos Bolts off, you'll be going Roaring Blaze and then going Cremation with probably Entrenched Flame, just so you can root the target every time you do your Conflagrate. So it's just really, really nice, all experimentational. But if I go with the Conflagrate build, I would usually play with my Demon Armor, my Cremation, and probably Entrenched Flame, or something on those lines. It all depends what you want to play. So it's really, really nice there, all experimental at the end of the day. Now, talking about my Azerite traits. Now, the best Azerite traits, as I'm aware, in 3v3/2v2 Arena at the moment is ×3 Flashpoint. So if you don't know what Flashpoint is, Flashpoint, when you immolate the target above 80% health, it gives you X amount of haste. So for me, because I got 450 Azerite piece, it's 744 haste for 10 seconds. If you have 3 of this, you're looking at upwards of like 3k or something haste. So it's ridiculous. You can get your Chaos Bolts out a lot faster. So you want to be immolating every target. Like I said earlier, if you're against a DK, all you need to do is literally Cataclysm his pets, and you're going to be getting a load of haste, man. I'm telling you, and you'll be able to Chaos Bolt the target even faster than you could before. Really, really nice. I really like going that. So ×3 Flashpoint, 1 Bursting Flare to increase your mastery from your Conflagrate, and then you want 2 Crashing Chaoses. What it does, like I said earlier, every time you use your Inferno, increases your damage by your Chaos Bolt. The next 8 Chaos Bolts for like 2.8k DPS. So it's really, really nice. You can swap out one of those Crashing Chaoses for a Chaotic Inferno, so you can get that standard, you know, baseline Chaos Bolt damage and the your chance to obviously get your Incinerate out a lot quicker because it's instant. However, the main build people play at the moment is ×3 Flashpoint, 1 Bursting Flare, and 2 Crashing Chaoses. Now, you can also experiment with this. You can also play the Crashing Chaos builds for the big amount of Chaos Bolt damage, which is basically Crashing Chaos and Chaotic Inferno, all 3 of them on your gear. So you can have 2 of those on each. You can go that for the big Chaos Bolt, but like I said, you don't really get your Chaos Bolts that quick out in Arena. So I would go with the standard build, which is, like I said, ×3 Flashpoint, 1 Bursting Flare, and 2 Crashing Chaos. Like you can experiment with this all you like. You can go different builds. You can even play 2 Flashpoint, you know, like 3 Bursting Flare if you wanted, if you're playing the Bursting Flare, Roaring Blaze, and Cremation build, because it's really nice consistent damage and you get a load of mastery. However, I just purely like the damage from my Chaos Bolt, so that's what I will be running if I play Destro. Now, talking about essences, there's a few essences you can actually go here. If you're against, if you want to be more tanky, you can obviously play Conflict and Strife. It gives you Demon Armor baseline and increases your verse. However, I think the 3 best major essences right now to play is probably Memory of Lucid Dreams, because it increases your Soul Shard regeneration, therefore allowing you to get more Chaos Bolts out. And then I would probably go Vision of Perfection, because this has a chance to proc a Infernal coming down from the sky, and if you're playing Crashing Chaos, your next 8 Chaos Bolts are going to hit for a truck, so you'll be able to literally one-shot people when you get that proc down. So it's really, really nice, and also reduces the cooldown of your Infernal. And then I'd say the next one, so the third and final one, I would probably say Conflict and Strife is good for being more tanky, but you can probably play Condensed Life Force. So between Conflict and Strife and Condensed Life Force, I would say is probably the best major ones. Then for the minor ones, it all depends obviously what you're playing as the major. But I like going with, if I'm not playing Vision of Perfection as the major, that will be 100% my minor at all times for that reduction in Infernal cooldown. And obviously I will play Crucible of Flame so I can burn the target and heal an ally. And then for the last one, I would probably play with Breath of the Dying for the extra fire damage, or maybe I could go with Lucid Dreams for the extra healing. So it all depends on what you're actually playing as the major, but literally most traits as a Destro lock work. Vision of Perfection, you know, Lucid Dreams, Conflict and Strife, Focusing Iris, Condensed Life Force. Literally there's loads of traits that actually work, but that's my majors. So the major ones and the minors, so top majors I like is Lucid Dreams, Vision of Perfection, Conflict and Strife / Condensed Life Force. The best minors, in my opinion, are Vision of Perfection, and then Lucid Dreams. Also, Conflict and Strife. You can play Condensed Life Force if you want, but I'd say Breath of the Dying is very, very nice too. Sorry if I left any out, guys. I'm just trying to be as fast as possible so you don't have to sit through a long video. And then stat priority, very simple. You want to be getting around 25% haste, and then stack the rest in mastery, and then maybe verse / crit, depending on what you like the most. So haste, around 20 to 25%, and then the rest in mastery as much as you can, and then the remainder will either go into verse or crit. But now I'm going to be going on and talking about the rotation, and then that'll be it, guys. So let's jump straight into it. Okay, so for the sake of this video, I'm going to be going with Vision of Perfection, Iris, and Crucible of Flame, and then also going with Focus Chaos, Demon Armor, and Foulfisher. Now, I haven't played Destrolock in a while, so I start off with the Cataclysm, depending on what you're against, you know, and then you can do Incinerate. Basically, you want to... There we go, I got a proc there, so it's absolutely brilliant. You can pop your Infernal down, Rain of Fire, Havoc, and then you can get your Conflagrate out and Chaos Bolt at the target. Watch my Chaos Bolt, you ready? 239k, 229k. You want to see another one? 267k. Like, because I'm getting my mastery from my Bursting Flare, increase my mastery by 300, 261k Chaos Bolts I'm hitting. Absolutely ridiculous, guys. So basically, the rotation... I never nail it first time in Arena. It all depends what you're against. But say if you're playing the Flashpoint build, you want to be immolating all your targets. Start off by that. You can, if you want to set up, you can double Havoc, Mortal Coil. And then you can obviously get your Conflagrate out. This is going to give you 2 stacks because you hit it on 2 targets. And then once you get enough embers, you can just Chaos Bolt. I know people like putting the Rain of Fire down because it obviously increases the damage when you Chaos Bolt. So that's obviously good to do. But I don't really have the best idea of rotation. I know there's people out there who have a lot more experience with Destro. But what I like to do, like I said, Cataclysm in. Boom. Havoc. Then you do Conflagrate because that increases your mastery. And then what you can do is obviously put your Rain of Fire down, generate some embers, waiting for that Infernal proc. And then you would pop your Infernal, your Dark Soul, and then Chaos Bolt. And then that's all she wrote, man. You're going to be hitting for a ton. Ridiculous. But yeah, guys, I really hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please leave a like. Comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. I do have a demo guide I need to bring you guys as well. So yeah, sorry that this video was really long and sorry about the rotation. It's just that it's all situational. At the end of the day, you just want to make sure your Immolate's always on the target and you get your Conflagrate out so you can have 5 bursting flare stacks at all times and then just basically spend the rest in Chaos Bolt. But yeah, guys, I've been Xrathis. Thank you so much. And yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Catch you in the next one. So, peace!